it doesn't take much thinking to realize this, man. Just think about it for a sec, okay? And use your wisdom. When you're a spiritual seeker, what are you positioning yourself as? You're positioning yourself as someone who doesn't have it. Yeah, you're kind of like playing this game. But if you have true wisdom, you kind of just see through it. You kind of just look right through this BS game, which is being a seeker. Because it's also this. To awaken, you must give it to yourself. The reason you have to give it to yourself is because you're the only one who's here. You're it. And I know that some teachers, say this. They say you are it, and they kind of just expect you to get it. But really, that it doesn't. Nothing happens because for you to get it or to realize that you are it, a change in your consciousness is what's needed. You can't just get it. I mean, you can, but it's kind of hard because you've got a human mind in the way, right? That needs to dissolve into consciousness for you to understand experientially what you are. Maybe you have some tolerance for some new agey, non-dually stuff and some videos and some nice spiritual sounding ideas. Maybe you have a bit of you that doesn't mind being a bit of a seeker and likes to play that game a little bit and just sort of, yeah. But maybe you also care about truth. The more conscious you get, the clearer you are about this. You see through any idea that you're seeking something and that you just fucking claim it, okay? And that's what it really is. You just need to take full responsibility. And maybe you'll have this, man, like you see certain people and you sort of notice that they're sort of like spiritual sheep. They're not really thinking for themselves. They're not really doing the inquiry. Whereas someone like you or someone like me is like, okay, like that's cool, I might do a little bit of that, but I'll try my best to be focused on what's true or really it's discovering what's true. Because you know that like truth exists, right? But truth is mysterious and truth is non-obvious, which is why you have to awaken to it. You can't like learn what truth is or read about truth. I mean, you can, but it doesn't get you to truth. It doesn't get you experiencing truth. So instead, you have to drop the game of being a seeker and you got to go for truth yourself. The reason this is difficult though sometimes, man, is because maybe you got into spirituality and maybe you did so in certain groups and maybe you're part of certain communities. Do you want the truth? The truth is, when you really, 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 really experience truth, dude, you're on your fucking own. You get it on your own. You're not in a nice little circle, and maybe you are. Maybe you're in a psychedelic integration sharing circle or something, and you're like having a really powerful insight or awakening for some reason. But in my experience, man, you experience truth when you are on your own. And when you're not seeking, is when you realize, awakening. I'm awakening. I'm realizing. I'm waking up. That's the kind of stuff that you say when you get it, or when you're close to getting it, or when you're like dipping your toes in it. But when you're not getting it, and you're just playing a spiritual game, you generally say, oh yeah, I'm a spiritual seeker. Are you too? It just boils down to, what do you actually say when you awaken? You don't say, I'm still a spiritual seeker when you're awake. No, you don't say that. You say, oh my fucking God, I'm awake. Or you say, oh my God. Or you say, whoa. Or you say, awakening, truth, God, fuck. You don't go around going, oh, I'm a spiritual seeker. Like, you're not seeking anymore, man. You got to understand that you change your perspective. You change your outlook. That is a bullshit spiritual identity. And it limits you. So if you still identify as a spiritual seeker, honestly, man, I think you have the wisdom to know that that's fucking limited. And when this clicks for you, man, one thing you might realize is like, oh yeah, you know what? Most people are spiritual seekers. Right, but they're not awake. they're spiritual seekers. So you kind of got to make a decision. Like, do you want to pursue spirituality like properly and like really go for it? Or do you want to play spiritual games? My experience personally, man, is spiritual games are everywhere. They're really easy to play. They're really easy to be a part of. And they're just fun. They're nice. They make you feel kind of good. They make you feel a little bit more conscious, a little bit more connected. You have some good friends. Or you can go for truth. Really get it. Meeting up with other spiritual people and having spiritual conversations in a kind of wishy-washy, shallow way that is not really like potent and powerful. You could say the signal to noise ratio is low. So there's lots of noise, but not much signal, not much pure consciousness. I want you to know, man, I'm not coming from below here. I'm not saying, fuck those people. I'm not saying like, don't do that. You can do that a bit. I do that occasionally, man. It's nice. It's good fun. Right? I've got some great like people in my life who are really loving because I attend those events occasionally and I, hang out with those kind of people. But more importantly, on my own, I am pursuing consciousness. On my own, I am pursuing truth. And essentially what I'm doing with this video, man, is I'm helping you to realize the difference and I'm empowering you with, dude, you can pursue truth because you have the wisdom to pursue truth and to not play spiritual games and to not have this identity that precludes awakening, that kind of keeps it off in the distance, because the word seeker means you're seeking it. You don't have it. You just get honest. Honesty taken all the way leads you to truth and awakening. It's kind of like if you've been fully honest with your ego at times, you're like, holy shit, like I can see through my ego because I'm being so honest. Yeah. Like I've noticed in my own life, like real emotional honesty, like really powerful emotional honesty, the kind of work that you might not always want to do, that really helps spiritually. It gets you very clear. It helps you just cut through so much shit and so much illusion. You just get truth. And then, like when you're stood in truth and you're awakening, and I say awakening as opposed to awake because consciousness is infinite. And so to say that you are awake is a big statement. One trap that we often make when we do spiritual work is if we think we're awake, we're probably still asleep. So it's actually very wise to recognize how vast and infinite consciousness is and how deep awakening can be. Regardless, man, what's important is that you're doing the work on yourself and not getting lost or distracted in being a spiritual person. Honestly, being a spiritual person just in general, as I've said in the past, it's pretty advanced. You will be way more developed and evolved than most people if you are spiritual. But if you are into spirituality and this work, you will notice that there is awakening work, there is consciousness work, there is truth, or there is being or spiritual, and there is seeking. And I know, man, awakening is not easy. It can be difficult work to like find yourself. But don't get distracted with being a seeker. It's not the way. If you care about truth, you will have the wisdom. You totally already know this. You're just watching this video because you're like, thanks for the reminder, man. I'm going to make sure that I don't include being a seeker in my identity. Empower yourself. Go for truth directly. Play less games. Spend more time on your own getting it, being it, becoming it. It's even better to say being it than becoming it because I'm not going to explain that. You understand what I mean. My friend, I hope this has helped you. I hope this has given you a bit of a challenge if you needed it. My friend, take care. Lots of love, man. And as always, peace.